Hi, I'm Vampy and this is Sojourner. She is a Daedalus Sparrow and she's staying with me for 2 weeks before flying on to her next home. So during that time I'm trying to really put her through her paces. So far she's amazing, really smooth, really fast, really quiet. But today I've been doing something that she finds a little bit challenging. I'm not sure how well you can see on the bobbin, but this is incredibly super fine silk. So for superfine spinning you want incredibly low tension and very high speed so you can get enough twist in quickly. I have my brake band completely removed here, and I was still finding that was giving me a little bit more take up than I liked. So what I've been doing is, I hope you can see this thread, it is ridiculously fine, but if you can't, trust me, it is here. This is not an Emperor's New Clothes situation. So I have a loop of the thread here, and I'm running it round the opposite flyer arm. So, oh no, I've broken it through the orifice. So I'll rethread the whole path again. So it goes round the opposite flyer arm. Take it through this yarn guide. Around that hook, and then I'm going to put this up from underneath to catch it, bring it down and hold on to that while I grab it and pull it out through the orifice. Okay, so I'm threaded up and I have one extra loop round the opposite flyer arm. What I'm also going to do is cross lace at the front of the fly, which is what I generally prefer to do, because then I'm not getting any abrasion with the yarn I'm spinning against the yarn that I've already spun. So I'm just going down here, grabbing this yarn and putting it over that hook. So now I'm double cross-laced with no brake band on at all. I will wind this out just a little bit so I've got a bit more leader portion. Now I'm using silk for this because it's a bit stronger than wool, so it's a little bit kinder with too much take-up. It doesn't keep breaking all the time, although because it's stronger you do tend to find it easier to spin that much finer than you would with wool. So I'm all set up here. Let me just check what speed I'm on. Right, I'm on 100% now, so I'll turn it down to 60. I've got it set for a 10-second or 9-second slow start, so it really gives me a chance to let it ramp up. I'm making sure I'm holding this under tension, because otherwise when it starts I'm going to get enough of a jerk to break the thread. So, ready there, get my fibre. Okay, still holding under tension. So this is going to ramp up slowly to 60%. And what I'm finding here is I've got like no take up at all, which is what you would generally expect for the brake band not being on. But if I increase that to 90, now I'm starting to feel it tugging, and this is actually already too high for me. If I get a little slub through, which I sometimes get in the silk, I just need to wait for twist to build a bit, you will see it pulling out of my hand without me really doing anything. I'm down to incredibly fine there, but it's really pulling far more than I would like. I'm a little bit scared to even turn it up to full speed. Let me thicken up a little bit more. That'll make it a bit less scary. Alright, I reckon at 100% it should be able to deal with this. There we go, it's full speed. So, again, it's doable, but I can really feel it pulling. Of course, this silk is now behaving perfectly, so I'm not getting the tiny little slubby bits I get sometimes. Or I could show you how it's pulling it out of my backhand. I mean, you can kind of see there, I wasn't, yeah, I mean, it's broken somewhere higher up. It's just too strong, despite the fact there's no tension on, and it was double cross laced. I was really confused as to why that would be the case, because I spin on my Hanson mini spinner at 3000 RPM with my own bobbins, and then I realised that's what's doing it. This is what I use for my bobbins for superfine spinning on the mini spinner, as well as them being a fat core, which I haven't got on here, and I'm sure if I did pad this bobbin core I would get sufficiently lower take up. I also use these little 3D printed parts in the end for my bobbins, and these fly straight on the flyer shaft. I've got a little groove in for the brake band, so it's got a very small surface area. But the difference between this and this is that these are just plastic. It's plastic straight on the metal flyer shaft, and I only put a bit of super lube in there as well. So these are stuck fairly tightly to the flyer. I mean, they move, but compared to this has got bearings in. It's so smooth. This, I could do that to it when it's on the flyer shaft. It would turn less than half the amount this does before it stopped. So what happens when I'm spinning really fine is I want the bobbin to move at the same speed as the flyer almost all the time, with just a tiny bit of braking to allow for wind on. This wants to move at the same speed as the flyer because it's not smooth, it's plastic with a bit of lubricant. This, on the other hand, is so smooth, the action of the wind moving past it is sufficient to want to brake it. This doesn't want to move at the same speed as the flyer, this wants to move all by itself. So actually, that means spinning super fine is more difficult than I expected, entirely because bobbins are too smooth. I'm going to try again. I'll cross lace a couple more times, and after that I will put a bit of this pipe insulation on one of the bobbins to give myself a fat core bobbin, and that will help a lot mitigate the tension. I just thought I'd make a video because I found it very interesting that an incredibly smooth, well-made bobbin and flyer was actually a detriment to superfine spinning. I'd never even considered that before. For the record, this is the sort of superfine I'm talking about. I'm not talking about normal lace weight. I'll try and let that catch the light, that strand of silk. This is about the same thickness as my hair. It is insanely, ridiculously fine. For regular lace weight yarns, the Sparrow has been functioning perfectly. I've been doing some embroidery thread with it, and it's been lovely. But for this super fine, I will need to make a few adjustments until it's happy. I've managed to mitigate the take-up even more by extra cross-lacing. So here's a close-up of my fingers. It's still a little bit higher than I'd like, but this is ridiculously fine spinning. So we'll see how far I can get before this thread breaks. Right, that is going to break. I will overlap that and join that. Right. Oh, no, and gone. So I will yank that off the bobbin and show you just how fine I managed to get. You can't, maybe if I pick up the controller, that might give you enough contrast to be able to see it against. No, and you can barely see that. I am fairly sure that is thinner than one of my hairs. Let's grab a hair and see. Oh wow, that is actually considerably thinner than my hair, or it looks to be here. I will actually take that and have a look under the microscope and see how fine it is, but yeah, Sparrow did admirably in spinning ridiculously fine yarn although I would like to be able to do it without having to do all the cross lacing. I think a fat core bobbin is certainly the way to go in the first instance, and after that it would just be a question of trying to find some way to make it less smooth. Bye bye!